Hey guys, it's Matthew here and welcome back to the Watch Wrap. Today we're going to be talking about the recently released Zenith El Primero Chronomaster Sport models. The El Primero has always been the most popular watch model that has been produced by Zenith for the past several decades. And this particular model line that was recently released has been slightly controversial. A lot of people think it kind of looks like a Daytona. I'll go a little bit more in depth as to why that's not exactly the case, and a lot of it is really just people's perception, as well as some basic specs and pricing for this watch. So just to start off with some basic information about these new models, the new movement that's going to be in these models is the El Primero caliber 3600. So that's going to give a 60-hour power reserve as well as the same 36,000 vibrations per hour that all the other El Primeros are already known for. So it has that nice smooth sweeping second hand. And there's also a new way that the chronograph hand is actuating. Not going to explain that because it's definitely something that's much better to be read than heard, so I'm going to link the Hodinkee article that will let you know more about how that actually works in the description below. A lot of people in the watch community have said that it kind of looks like a Daytona, but when you actually look at the watch in operation, it is actually much different than the Rolex Daytona, particularly with the Chronograph Seconds hand. As soon as you actuate the chronograph, it's apparent that there's something different about this watch. And that is that it measures the tenths of a second. Instead of just regular 60 seconds, one revolution, it's actually one revolution every 10 seconds, and every hash mark on the bezel, which is black ceramic, kind of like the Daytona, shows every tenth of a second. So, it's already functionally different from the Daytona. Even though there are some legitimate similarities, which I think are causing a lot of people to think that this is just a Daytona clone, it's worth keeping in mind the markers for the hours are different, the subdials are super different, and it just seems like the ceramic bezel and I think probably the bracelet are giving it a little bit more of a similar vibe in people's perceptions of the watch than it actually is. It's not really that similar when you really look at it, but watch buyers are, first impressions are a big deal, so not sure if it was the best idea for Zenith to put themselves so adjacent to Rolex with this particular release. A lot of more seasoned Zenith collectors and enthusiasts online have compared this new model line to the Deluca models of the 80s. And after looking at some pictures of the Deluca models, I gotta say, I don't really completely agree with that characterization. The only real similarity between the Deluca models as well as the ones that were recently released are basically the fact that there's actually numbers on the bezel. I mean, the regular El Primero did not have ceramic bezel. It just has a very flat bezel. It's the classic look, most preferred look generally by people, and it usually holds its value much better than these new releases are probably going to. And so therefore, I really don't see much of a similarity. I just think that if you're even a little bit similar to Rolex, people will always just round it up to that's a Rolex copycat. So it is a bit harsh, but I do see what people are talking about, especially considering Zenith is primarily a chronograph manufacturer when you really think about like what their reputation is in the watch industry. So I just think that they just set a really high bar for themselves by actually adding a ceramic bezel, and that just kind of destined this model to sort of fail in terms of design. I still think it looks like a really cool watch, and I think if you're really hardcore watch enthusiast enough, you're not going to judge someone really for wearing this because, I mean, it's still a respectable watch by a respectable manufacturer. And everyone watching this video knows the differences. So is it a bad watch? No. Will a lot of people buy it? I don't think so. I think it's going to lose a lot of value pretty early on. But, I mean, that's just how the watch industry is sometimes. I have to give Zenith credit for at least trying to make the Chronograph Seconds have a different function to the point where it's notable from a collector's perspective. Back then they did a lot of Defy models that they still offer today that actually do one rotation every second of the Chronograph Seconds hand. So it's literally just constantly obnoxiously whirring over and over again. And we'll leave a link in the description of a video that was actually done by Tim Masso of Watchbox that actually shows a review of the video, a review of the watch rather, having this obnoxious buzzing sound. It's almost like an electronic sound. That's what it sounds like. And when I'm using a chronograph, I don't want to hear like a whirring, whizzing sound. It's just really obnoxious and weird. So I'm happy that they managed to tone down the innovation a little bit to the point where it's actually not a ridiculous hassle to use the product on the wrist. And like I said, you know, when this design is so similar, you've got to find some way of trying to be a little bit different. So at least Zenith made a serious effort to at least make the watch functionally different. So the new models come in both white dial and black dial variants, along with strap and bracelet variants. So the strap options are going to be $9,500 US dollars for both the white and black dial, and the bracelet options are both $10,000 each. If you're one of those people that still think it's kind of a Rolex Daytona lookalike after everything I said so far, well, I've got great news for you. So Zenith has recently signed an ambassadorship deal with Aaron Rodgers, Discount Double Check. All right, guys? So there actually is a program that Zenith is offering now where you can get your hands on the watch for free at an authorized dealer. All right, this is how you do it. So you go into an authorized dealer, all right, and you ask the person there, can I please see the Zenith El Primero Chronomaster Sport models? You go over there, you look at the watch, you feel the watch in your hand, and then you ask the salesperson, can I get the Rodgers rate? And then you get thrown out of the store. And so you see, you got your hands on the watch for free. What do you guys think of these new Zenith releases? Please let us know in the comments below. And also please subscribe and like the video as well. It really does help our channel grow. And until next time, peace out, guys.